Hey, hey, hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's sweatiest music nerd. Oh, it's so hot out today. Let's talk about this news that broke a few days ago. News I'm not very happy with. Apparently the CEO of Spotify says musicians can't expect to be okay and live and continue making music and, stay in the black and have food to eat if they're just coming out with music every 3 to 4 years. That's what he says. It's according to him. It's a new business model. I just wanted to comment on how dickish of a comment it is to say this, especially during a time where the pandemic has stripped musicians of one of the most lucrative revenue sources that they have at their disposal, which pretty much incentivizes them to make albums in the first place. I mean, I'll say that I feel very fortunate that I even have albums to talk about and review. I fear there could be a point in time where that may even dry up to an extent because there's not going to be as much drive to put out a record that you can't tour behind and make further money off of with other live promotions. Again, fortunate, happy there are albums to cover, but it seems that even the musicians have been really gracious enough to see fit to release during this time. Even that's not enough. They need to be doing more. Now, I will introduce some of the nuance of this guy's words into the conversation because his comments do seem a little holistic in terms of, oh, well, you need to be creating a constant narrative and stay consistently engaged. Maybe there is room for musicians to be exploring other avenues of making money and releasing their music, maybe kind of putting all of your eggs into the basket of one single album release every few years, and that's all the money you're making off your recorded music. Maybe there's something else we could be doing in terms of getting creative, engaging our fans. I've seen some musicians start Patreon pages where they're doing exclusive content and that sort of thing, but that's not exactly what it seems like is being suggested here. I'm sure at the end of the day, the Spotify CEO doesn't just want to see musicians go and start making money off of Patreon. I'm sure really what he wants to happen is for musicians to start coming out with more music on his platform, as if there aren't thousands of full-time working musicians with loyal fan bases and record contracts who are making virtually nothing off of their music via streaming and are very unhappy about that. What pisses me off about his suggestion over here about how stupid it is that obviously not all musicians and artists can adhere to this, oh, I'm going to come out with music every year model. Because as it has been shown historically, some of the greatest records of all time, both new and old, take a while to create. And while I do know and appreciate that the internet and commercial recording technology has advanced to the point where a lot of the troubles and issues of the past when it's come to making a record, they've been virtually erased. But still, I think we kind of have to presume that great ideas, great concepts, great messages, great compositions, they may take a while to suss out. Not all amazing ideas just pop into your head and just blah out of your mouth or whatever instrument you're playing instantaneously. So we can't just expect all artists to start dropping 30 tracks on every album and drop an album every 6 months or a mixtape or an EP or something like that. Come on. It's kind of inhuman. I feel like Spotify and the Spotify CEO is sort of adding another monkey to musicians' backs with this comment. I mean, don't you think it's enough that musicians have their labels on their backs already and maybe even promoters on their backs saying, do this, do that. We want this for the record. We want this for the show. You have to be here. You have to be there. You got to do this. You got to do that. Do this interview. Do this. And now on top of it, we have the Spotify CEO saying, actually, you need to be coming out with more music. Better do it. And one last thing that really pisses me off about this statement is that I have virtually seen no pushback against it from the label side of things. Maybe some independent labels here and there, but again, at the end of the day, the issue is that Spotify is making billions of dollars in the current paradigm. Major labels are making billions of dollars off of music streaming specifically. They have already made their money. They have already drawn out their cut of the pie, and they have already allotted musicians their share. And there seems to have, sort of been no chance or opportunity to sort of change it or alter it into something that is more equitable or sensible for the financial future of musicians, especially in today's pandemic paradigm. So as of right now, the financial outlook for musicians when it's come to streaming is looking pretty fucked. And the Spotify CEO with this comment over here is pretty much saying, put more music on Spotify, bitch. Yeah, it's kind of inhuman. It's just basically saying like, hey, that really shitty retail job that you work? Well, we just added like 12 more hours to your weekly shifts, and you're not going to make more money or that much more money. You can't expect to like live if you're only working here for 40 hours a week. Better work 60. See ya. See ya on Monday for that extra 6 hours that you weren't planning on working. Great. Don't musicians already have enough on their plates? Don't they really? I mean, at the end of the day, I know this isn't going to impact someone like Taylor Swift or Post Malone or something like that, but there are hundreds of musicians that I review every year who make little to nothing from streaming, and I'm sure are hoping for a day and for a time where they or their label are able to carve out something that makes a bit more sense for them financially when it comes to streaming their music on the internet. And a comment like this just kind of seems like throwing salt in the wound and then kicking dirt in the wound and spitting in the wound and then peeing in the wound and then kind of just rubbing on top of it like, just making sure all of it gets in there. Yeah, that's kind of what this comment seems like, and the Spotify CEO seems like a total asshole for saying it. Let me know what your thoughts were on this comment in the comments of my video down below, and over here next to my head is another video that you should check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Spotify, better make more music forever.